When Michael finally arrived, it did not just come with expectations, it came with missing pieces. Behind the scenes, the film had already been reshaped after lawyers discovered that a settlement tied to Jordan Chandler barred the estate from depicting or even naming him in film, which forced major reshoots and a complete change in the movie's structure.
Fortunately, after we finished shooting, we found out that the estate didn't really have the rights to the story we were telling.
The result is a biopic that now ends in 1988, long before the public allegations that followed Michael Jackson in the 1990s, allegations he denied. So if you are watching Michael and feel like something important is missing, that is because it is. In fact, there are several deleted scenes and removed story threads that would have made the movie look and feel very different. Here are 5 of the most interesting ones you need to know about.
We really shaped the movie to capture Michael's character over from his formative years to Bad Tour.
Right.
And so through that time, there's highlights, as we know, right? There's moments you hit Thriller, Moonwalk at the Berry Gordy show.
The first deleted scene was supposed to set the tone right away. According to reporting, the original opening took place in 1993 at Neverland Ranch, with police lights flashing and Michael staring into a mirror as the investigation closed in around him. That is a very different way to begin a biopic about a global icon. Instead of starting with triumph, it would have started with pressure, fear, and the public collapse of his image. Antoine Fuqua reportedly even filmed a sequence where Jackson was stripped naked and treated like an animal and a monster, which shows just how blunt the original version was prepared to be. That opener was later removed, but it would have instantly told the audience that this movie was not avoiding the darker side of Michael Jackson's story.
They did it to try and belittle me, to try to take away my pride, but I went through the whole system with them, and at the end, I wanted the public to know that I was okay.
The second deleted scene was tied to the same moment in history, but it focused on the emotional fallout rather than just the event itself. Reports say the film was originally built to show the impact of the allegations on Jackson's life, with much of the third act revolving around the scandal before it was scrapped. That means the audience would have seen not just the legal pressure, but the personal collapse that followed it.
There have been many disgusting statements made recently concerning allegations of improper conduct on my part. These statements about me are totally false. As I have maintained from the very beginning, I am hoping for a speedy end to this horrifying experience to which I have been subjected.
Instead of ending on a clean note, the film would have forced viewers to sit with the damage. That entire direction disappeared once the legal issue surfaced, which is why the final movie feels like it stops just before the most controversial part of his life begins. The third deleted scene was reportedly a courtroom and strategy moment involving John Branca and Johnny Cochran. This one matters because it would have shifted the movie from pure drama into legal defense territory.
You had accusations from 2 men who had a financial interest in the outcome, and from 2 men who had previously testified under perjury exactly the opposite of what they said in the documentary. Now, on top of that, the fans and press overseas in England and even in Moscow have begun to point out numerous inconsistencies and flat-out lies that contained in the documentary. And yet, because the laws of defamation are what they are, there's nothing you can do or say. The man can be damaged, his legacy can be damaged, his kids can be hurt, and theoretically, nothing can be done.
Rather than simply hinting at controversy, the scene would have shown Jackson's camp actively framing the accusations as an attempted extortion, which is a very specific point of view. That kind of scene changes the audience's relationship with the film immediately, because it tells you how the movie wants you to interpret the story. Once the reshoots happened, that entire thread disappeared too, leaving the final cut much less willing to engage the viewer in that debate. The fourth deleted scene is one of the saddest omissions because it had nothing to do with the scandal at all. Kat Graham revealed that her scenes as Diana Ross were cut for certain legal considerations. And that matters because Diana Ross was one of the most important figures in Michael Jackson's early professional life. She was part of his world, part of his rise, and part of the emotional fabric of the story. Cutting those scenes means cutting away a connection that would have helped balance the film with something warmer and more personal. It is one thing to remove controversy-heavy material because of legal pressure. It is another thing entirely to lose an important relationship that could have deepened the movie's heart.
Among Diana Ross fans and Michael Jackson fans, there are some people who theorize that your mom was actually kind of in a way the love of his life. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I mean, I heard it. Yeah. I think they loved each other very much as good friends. And I think that they inspired each other, and there was such a great friendship there.
The fifth deleted scene is really less of a single scene and more of a missing chapter. The original version of Michael was reportedly supposed to revolve heavily around Neverland Ranch, with the property functioning as one of the film's major set pieces. But after the legal issue was discovered, the story was reworked so aggressively that the Neverland material was largely stripped away. That means the film lost one of the most visually distinctive parts of Jackson's life, the place that represented both his fantasy world and, later, the center of public controversy. According to reporting, the movie even had major Neverland footage shot, only for the sequence to be cut once producers realized it could not legally survive in the final release. In the end, the film no longer takes the audience into the world Jackson built for himself. It only brushes against it.
Okay, now you can go. But don't run. Whatever you do, don't run. Buy a snow cone. Oh, I buy them from companies around the world. I'm getting a roller coaster next to go over there. And
roller coaster, do you have a water park?
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna build a water park on the other side of this mountain.
You got a water park?
No, we're going to. I built it. So you can come in your swimsuit.
The sixth deleted scene is not a scene in the traditional sense, but it is one of the biggest things that disappeared from the original cut. According to reporting from Variety, Michael was originally assembled as a 4-hour film, and one of the most significant trims was a block of voiceover narration by Jafar Jackson as the older Michael reflecting on his childhood. That narration was eventually removed, so the movie could breathe in real time, rather than feel like it was being told from a distance. In other words, the earlier version of Michael was apparently much more guided and explanatory, while the final cut chose to let the performances and scenes carry the emotion on their own.
Speaking of transformations, I mean, how long did it take to nail? You have a very different speaking voice than your uncle. Like, I'm like, how long did it take to master that? It's very particular.
It was interesting because at first it was very silly to my own ears, you know, when I was trying to do that. So I really read a lot of books in his voice, and each book I got better, basically. And, you know, you get more used to it. Then sometimes I'd be out, like in a grocery store, and I'd be talking to someone, but I'd naturally respond, and I'm like, wait, that sounded kind of like Michael. Like, you know, I wasn't trying to do it intentionally, so I wanted to get to that place where I wasn't thinking about it, like putting it on. It would just come out naturally.
What makes that cut so interesting is that it changes the whole feel of the movie. A voiceover can make a biopic feel more intimate, like the character is pulling you through his own memories. But once that narration was removed, the film became more immediate and less reflective, which is probably why some viewers feel the final version moves so fast through major moments. So while the voiceover is gone, it still tells us something important about the original structure of the film. It shows that Michael was once built to be more expansive, more explanatory, and more emotionally guided before the edit stripped it back.
Process, what surprised me most, I would say, is I was allowed access to a lot of his personal notes, and I realized that he would do mantras, affirmations, and his belief in manifestation was incredible. I didn't realize that about him until I really dived into it, and he would write everything he wanted to achieve. He'd write it down, he would repeat it. He'd even meditate for 30 minutes and just look at those mantras and repeat it back to back. He put on mirrors, he put on the ceiling, so you can see it every day.
The seventh deleted scene is the film's ending, or more accurately, the ending that almost was. As released, Michael closes with the 1988 Bad Tour performance at Wembley Stadium, then cuts to black with the title card, "His story continues." GQ reported that this was not always the plan, and that the original ending was supposed to move into 1993 with the Neverland raid and the Chandler allegations, before the movie was rewritten and reshot after the legal issue was discovered.
Okay, I'm gonna get a uniform for you guys. Okay. Who else is here? Just you? Okay, why don't you stay here? We're going to go on it and clear it, make sure, and we'll have other people that we find locate into there.
All of this here? Let's let Ross take the lead, and we'll do it systematically, because I have no idea where we're going.
Yeah, that's the store room. It's babies clothes, baby stuff. That's...
Who would have the key to this?
Joe. Is Joe here?
In the final version, though, the movie stops at a triumphant concert moment, turning the ending into a celebration of Jackson's rise, rather than a confrontation with the darker chapter that originally followed. That choice changes everything. Instead of ending on a scandal, the movie ends on a spectacle. Instead of leaving audiences with a legal and emotional aftermath, it leaves them with Michael on stage, at the height of his power, under the lights at Wembley. The final cut feels like a victory lap, but the original ending would have made the film far heavier and far more controversial. So when people say Michael leaves something out, this is one of the biggest reasons why. The ending you see now is not just a creative choice, it is the result of a much larger story being pulled away from the film. And that is the thing about Michael. Even the deleted scenes tell a story. They show just how much was changed, reshaped, and removed before the film ever reached audiences. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more deep dives like this, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next one.